Good morning all. Obviously thank you for being here this morning. It's our pleasure obviously to take the stage with the Adelaide Football Club today. Hungry Jacks is an Australian iconic brand, 50 years strong, particularly here in South Australia. Many of our customers and our employees, especially in South Australia, are excited to announce this partnership obviously with the great Adelaide Football Club. We're keenly looking forward to the kickoff, to get out there and cheer on the Crows and support them in any way we can. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, George. I mean, we're open to questions, but from a football club's point of view, we couldn't be more excited to have such an incredible support from Hungry Jacks. And we look forward to the future, and the fact that we're building stability off field and having such great support around us is only going to help us on field. So the future's looking quite exciting.
George, can I just ask, I saw there was a giveaway for burgers when a player kicks a goal from outside 50, is that correct? It could cost you $1 million a game if Brody Smith gets the ball.
Mate, we're hoping that we're going to give away more than 1 million Whoppers. Hungry Jacks is known as the home of the Whopper. I hear that Robbie Smith, I got that right? Brody, sorry.
We can change his name.
I hear that Brody Smith can kick outside 50, and we're hoping that he kicks a couple every week. If the Crows are winning, Hungry Jacks is winning.
Brilliant.
You got a sort of special order here, Nixie, or you got a favourite burger?
It's on the way, I think. Actually, I was a little bit late rocking up, but no, I enjoy the coffee. I come in and enjoy a coffee, but I think it's exciting. We've already started talking to our players about some of the opportunities to give back to our members and supporters and give back to the community, and part of that is through, we're working on kicking goals from outside 50. Brody does that every week, so we won't have to do anything with him, but I know Paul Seedsman's pretty keen for you to talk about him as well. But I think it's quite exciting. We've seen Hungry Jacks support not only Australian rules football, but a lot of sport in Australia, and we've seen this concept work really well, so I think it's going to be a good one to look forward to on a game day.
George, can I ask one more before we talk about footy? The partnership with the Crows, how does it work with you guys also, I imagine, still sponsoring West Coast?
Well, Hungry Jacks has a long history of supporting sport, especially in the AFL. So we've got the two birds, the Crows and the Eagles. Obviously, we're going to be supporting the Crows, but when they're playing, I think Hungry Jacks wins in the end anyway. So we're going to be there cheering the teams on, but down here in South Australia, it's going to be particularly the Crows.
Nixie, West Coast, Adelaide next year, Battle of the Burger. We have the Burger Derby. Do you have a name for it?
We haven't got together as yet. I know Simo is a massive fan of Hungry Jacks as well, so I'm sure we'll do something around that game. As long as we kick more goals than they do or score more points in the end, I'll be reasonably pleased.
See blokes tiptoeing the 50 line and making sure they don't cross, so all the fans.
Yeah. There is a concern with that. It won't be the first time we've seen it either. But we'll work with our players around that. It's an interesting one because I know in the pre-season comp in previous years we did have a super goal which was outside 50, and it made for interesting times when players were looking to handball and pass the footy off. But there's some other areas we're focusing on probably as a priority over that. But again, I can promise our members and our supporters that get out there that we'll be doing everything we can to get them a free Whopper.
Who places it?
Sorry?
Who places it?
I don't know. I don't know. As in toe on the line, you're talking that sort of thing.
That's what I mean. For that.
I'm not sure who places that one.
You talked about some of the other areas you were prioritising. Can you talk to us a little bit about what they might be?
But at the moment, we're doing a lot of work. So our guys have had a fantastic off-season. We want to capitalise on the development we saw from our group last year. When you look at what is success, we felt like last year we had a young group of players that put a brand of footy out there, a DNA that our members enjoyed watching. We want to do that more consistently. Part of that is now the work that we put in throughout the break. And I haven't seen a group to this point in my footy journey where they've worked to the level that our guys are doing at the moment. And it's a credit to them because they're driving themselves. We've got some great leaders in amongst them that are pushing that. so we look forward to them coming back, and we've improved our group from a people personnel. The people we've brought on board, and that's where it all starts. We've added to that in the break. We know we're going to work hard through this pre-season. Now we've just got to create the right environment for these guys, and I feel like we've done that. So it's quite an exciting time for the footy club.
How much of an impact do you expect Darren Burgess to have, one of those people you obviously brought in?
Well, he'll have an instant impact, and he's probably had an impact already. The fact that Darren's coming on board, our players are aware of that, and they know what he's been able to do and his experience across, the success he's had at a number of different organisations, no more recent than Melbourne last year. So our players know that we're getting a very good operator in Darren. He's going to add some expertise to that area. And as I said, they're already working hard in anticipation of what he's going to expect from them. So he's not the only one that's coming in. We've got a lot of good people that have come on board. So onwards and upwards.
Was Jordan Dawson's recruiting a big tick for you, in that you've been working so hard on culture and trying to make Adelaide a really desirable place for players? Was bringing in a player of his calibre a big tick for that in that respect?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no doubt. And Jordan is an outstanding person, and even more outstanding footballer. So for us, this is something that wasn't a one-week job where we spoke to Geordie at the last second and said, come and join us. This was something that we've looked at, how do we improve, how do we develop this group. That part of that is adding more talent, adding good people, as I've said, right throughout, and he fits exactly that mould. So it's really exciting for us to have him join us. He's gone through probably with the Sydney Swans something similar to where we're at. Work with a young group, so he's probably 12 months ahead of where we are, and he's going to bring great experience, not just on field but also off field.
Can we expect to see Jordan push a little bit further forward next year and potentially get a few whoppers for the crowd?
Yeah, look, I hope so. I think Geordie's preference is to really get his teeth into the game and play, through the midfield. A lot of players that have a similar game to what he has. He's built his game off of being, rock solid and played across half-back for the majority of his career. But he's shown, especially last year, he showed what he can do in the midfield. So, I hope we see Geordie and others that may be trying to knock it over from outside 50.
Does that mean wing, or do you think he can develop into an inside player as well?
Oh, look, we think Geordie's got the ability to go inside and outside, and speaking with him about, I guess, his long-term goals, then that's something he's looking to do. Help out those guys inside when the time's right and when it's needed, but also keeping that part of his game that's really his weapon, is his ability to use the football on the outside.
How much say will you have next Wednesday/Thursday from a draft perspective?
Well, it depends on how the draft plays out, but obviously we work really closely with the guys in Melbourne, our list management crew, in Justin Reid and Hamish Ogilvie. So we do. I mean, we've been, as I said, working on these areas of our football department and our football club for years now, for 2 years. So a lot of that work will come through. We've got a pretty good idea of what we like in the draft, what we believe might, fall at our pick. But there's a number of things can play out on draft night. Nothing's locked in, and so we'll have to keep an eye on how those first 3 picks go, and we'll make some decisions from there.
You said in the past, speed and polish as areas of need. What do you see as areas of need heading into this draft?
Yeah, when we say areas of need, it's more of a want, what we'd like to add to our group and help our group out with. We've been quite big on speed and power. The game seems to be trending that way, and we saw that as recent as the grand final, where a couple of players really did. Not a couple, we've said they were an outstanding football side, but there was a moment in the game where speed and power really showed itself, and so we'll be looking at that. There's a lot of that in this draft. There's a lot of really strong talent coming through that have those attributes. So I know we'll get a really high quality player at the pick we have. Look forward to integrating them into our really enthusiastic young group.
You
Are you confident Tex has done enough and that the group is past what happened for when it all kicks off again? And further to that, I suppose, do you know if he's ready to face what could come his way from an opposition crowd, player point of view?
Yeah, a good question. I've spoken to Tex. I saw him yesterday, and he's training the house down. I mentioned experienced players that are driving standards. He's one of those. And I don't think there's a player more keen to get back and train with the group. So Tex isn't required back officially from until after Christmas. Well, he'll be there Wednesday because he's been there right throughout this off-season training with our players. We've had up to 15 or 20 of them doing sessions together, running their own sessions, and he's been a big part of that. So I'm really confident that the work that Tex has done, the work that everyone's done, that we're going to see a really positive return from him. It'll start Wednesday. He'll work his way through. He won't necessarily do everything up till Christmas. He had an outstanding pre-season last year, which he'll model his pre-season off of that, considering the start we all remember he had. I don't think he'll change too much in that space, but he's done some incredible work behind the scenes, which not a lot of people have seen, and I think he'll have a really strong year.
How is he? You said you saw him yesterday. Does he look like a man that's still carrying a large weight, or is he on the improve?
No, look, I think through a lot of the work that he's done, a lot of work others have done, he's in a really good space at the moment. And I can't speak for him personally, and you'll get that opportunity over the coming months. But yesterday, what I can say is yesterday he was in great spirits. He actually spoke to me about how keen he was to get back and asked me as a coach, do you want to get back into it? We have something in common there. I enjoy footy. I love what I do, and he's the same. He just wants to get his teeth back into footy again.
Do you think that enthusiasm will be met by the rest of the playing group?
Yeah, I know that will be met by the rest of the playing group. I think, as I said, it took time when we initially went through this, and we made sure we didn't rush through any of that. Sometimes that was viewed from an outside that didn't understand a lot of the work that was going on behind the scenes, that things weren't happening, but there was a lot of great work being done. Part of that was our playing group, ensuring that our playing group didn't fracture, and we've been able to do that. So yeah, we'll have a group that are ready to go and integrate back in.
Can I just ask one more on Tex? So I remember in your initial fronting of the media, you were quite emotional about it all. Those initial, I suppose, bridge building, whatever you want to refer to it as, those initial conversations between you and Tex, did it take a while for you guys to sort of to feel, I don't know, comfortable again?
It didn't take long, but there was a period there where it was challenging, and I guess the key to that was us sitting down together and opening up, and there were challenges around COVID, and Taylor was making sure he spent some time with family and so on. But once we were able to sit down and we were able to talk through exactly where I sat, exactly where how he was feeling, it took no time at all for us to realise the support was there, and the support will be there ongoing.
Have you spoken specifically to the Indigenous boys about Taylor coming back?
As I said, the process that we went through was over a long period of time, and we've done a lot of that work right up until today. We'll continue to do that. We'll continue to work through it as a group, but at the moment I'm really confident we're in a good space.
Yes, it probably goes without saying that all your players are vaccinated. Did you experience any players who were hesitant or anything like that?
No, we haven't, and we are all vaccinated. Everyone's had their first vax to this point. We had a couple of players who are still to have their second. Again, something we look closely at. As a footy club, we encourage everyone to get vaccinated. We think it's the best thing for the community. So from our point of view, as far as the men's program goes, we'll be heads down, ready to go when the players return.
How concerned were you by yet another setback for Matty Crouch?
Probably the initial first 5 minutes before I spoke to him I was quite concerned. Probably puts Matty back a week in his rehab now. That may be a good thing for Matty Crouch because he's probably the hardest worker we've got, and it's hard when you're bringing someone back from what Matt's gone through to, I guess, temper his enthusiasm. things like this, Matty's got around 20 odd weeks before round one. Yeah, he's a very important part. He's a crucial part of our footy side in our midfield, and we'd love him to be ready to go round one. But it's a long road. It's a long road back, and I'll make sure that he has the messaging around. There's no rush for him to return. This small incident is not going to be a big thing in his comeback.
How's Wayne Miller tracking at the moment?
He's going really well. Be it it's it's a tough spot for him to be in. 2 years out of footy. The mental side of things becomes challenging, but he's been an ultimate professional. Some of the sessions he has to go through, and he's done right throughout the break, working on his rehabilitation, are quite challenging, but to his credit, he's been outstanding. I think he's one of those players that's really looking forward to the guys coming back, and he'll be able to integrate himself into some of the skills drills and actually get a little bit more football back into his routine.